Welcome to Breakout Investors. We are excited to be speaking with the management of Fathom Holdings, ticker FTHM, specifically the company's CEO, Marco, and Locafy, ticker LCFY, specifically the company's CEO, Gavin, to discuss their companies and the recently PR'd partnership. Joining me on today's call and leading the Q&A are Breakout Investors Brian Robson and Florian Bushek. This call is being recorded on February 16th, 2025, and will be distributed via the Breakout Investor YouTube channel and our Substack network. Supporting materials for today's call and call analysis will be provided on the Breakout Investors collaboration app, available on the app stores and at breakoutinvestors.com. The application and much of the research content is free. We also invite you to join our WhatsApp community, which is linked to in our YouTube profile. So let's get started with me handing the call over to Marco and Gavin for brief presentations, followed by Q&A led by Brian and Florian. Marco?
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate the opportunity to be with all of you today. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about Fathom. So really from the perspective of understanding what the potential of the partnership is with Locafy. So with that, let me get started. Just a quick Fathom snapshot. What makes Fathom interesting is that we operate as an end-to-end real estate brokerage. But really what makes us very different is that really we are a technology company. And I'll get into some of the details about that. But just some of the 2024 highlights, about 244 million revenue up to Q3 of last year, about 35,000 transactions. Our agent growth is 24% year over year. So we are growing rapidly. We have spent a lot in technology, about $20 million. And then we do have our roll-up strategy, which again is going to have an impact in our relationship with Locafy. Just in some investment highlights, what makes us unique is we are real estate brokers, but reinvented. We are somewhat different than most of the real estate companies out there. And part of the reason for that is that we really are a technology company acting as a real estate company. We do own our technology. I've been a technologist in technology all my life. I ran 3 software companies. And that's what makes one of the things that makes us very unique is that we also have 5 different businesses within the company, including mortgage title. And then the 2 that are more interesting in terms of the partnership with Locafy is our data business, which is a hyperlocal data company, which we license that data to about 300 other brokerages, and roughly about 400,000 agents are using our technology. The real estate is interesting very quickly. As you know, the last 2 years have been very difficult for the industry, but things are beginning to change. 2025, according to NAR, is a year that we're going to start seeing increases again, and probably interest rates coming down to 6%. And that's going to help the growth of this partnership with Locafy as there will be more transactions, more agents increasing their income, and then more activity within the agent industry. When I talked about Fathom is reinventing the real estate industry, really quick, what makes us unique is almost everything. We are a cloud-based company. We charge a flat fee. We own our technology. We have ancillary service like mortgage and title, and we own the business, and we're growing fairly quickly. So again, we are very different than most of the other real estate companies out there. We do offer significant value to our agents, and this is where Locafy comes in. You know, our partnership is about offering agents all kinds of other products and services. Probably the best way to think about Fathom is to think about Shopify. You know, we look at ourselves as a very early company that looks like Shopify. And then so we want to add a variety of different products and services to real estate agents, not only within Fathom, but also outside Fathom. And I'll go over that in a few minutes. So again, the value proposition is important to us because Locafy is going to be part of that as we move forward. Again, what makes us unique is that we charge our agents a lot less money. And so we charge a flat fee to our agents, or most of our competitors are charging a great deal of money in terms of 20 or 30%. Therefore, agents have more income when they come to Fathom. If they have more income, they'll also then spend that money in other products and services that will help grow their business. And again, the partnership with Locafy is an example of that. I'm not getting into revenue share, but we do have revenue share within a company. We just launched that. Again, we'll continue to launch new products and services every quarter. We'll launch something new to our agents. And we just launched revenue share and Locafy, one of the things that we're going to launch in the next few months. We talked about technology. Again, we own our entire technology stack. We manage the entire life cycle of an agent. from building their website to onboarding the agent to search to CRM to 1099s to managing every aspect of the transaction. And now we're getting into the social media posting and social media marketing, SEO. And again, these are the components that we're going to add to our technology stack, which again leads into this partnership. We do lots of training, all of that. 80% of all the agents want training, and we offer a great deal of training in terms of things that we offer. And so let me spend a few minutes about our technology. So our technology is incredibly unique. It took us about 4 years to build it, $20 million. We developed the technology offshore in Brazil. I was born in Brazil. And so it managed the entire life cycle of a transaction. Our technology allows us to optimize the entire process. And so we have probably the lowest direct cost per transaction in the industry, about $270. And again, what that does is allows the agent to pay a lot less to us, which means allows the agent to have greater income, which then allows the agent to invest in other products and services in order to grow their business. We do have ancillary businesses in terms of mortgage and title. Those businesses also have partnerships because they work outside of the Fathom ecosystem. And so all of these partnerships with all these other agents and brokerages through our ancillary businesses are also potential clients for any other product and service that we partner with. Again, our mortgage and title continue to grow very quickly. Mortgage title Encompass grew 53% year over year, and Verus, our title company, grew 70%. Now, why is that important? A significant part of that growth is working with agents that are not even Fathom. They're in different brokerages, right? And so as we build those relationships through our IntelliAgent platform, we will be able to market them other products and services. So this is our effective or growth strategy. As I mentioned before, our direct cost per transaction is $264. And most of the companies out there have a direct cost per transaction of $1,200, $1,800. So it is a significant advantage to our business in order to grow the business and build relationships. Our goal is to get to 100,000 agents. We're currently at 15,000. And one of the strategies for us is acquisitions. The next phase of our growth is through a roll-up strategy. There are more than 200 smaller companies out there, and Fathom Holdings is the 9th largest real estate company in the country. So it's a very fragmented market. And we already bought a company for 2,200 agents in November of last year. And we are looking to make more acquisitions as we go forward. This is an example of acquisition. I'm not going to get into that, but we are very good at acquiring companies, and typically we get a break-in within 2 years. Again, you guys will get a copy of the slides in terms of see the growth of the company. But we had, again, 2 difficult years. This year we're about even to 2024 is about even to 2023. But in 2025, we are forecasting about a 40% growth. Our presence is pretty much across the country, and within the end of the year, we'll be in all states. Again, we have a significant management team with lots of experience and a very experienced board with many board members that have significant high growth experience as well as public companies. So let's talk about the partnership with Locafy and why Hyperlocal is so important to the real estate industry. And so it really starts with our data business. So we have a data business called LiveBy. And what LiveBy has done is broken the entire country into 120,000 neighborhoods. When people look for real estate and look for a house, they're looking for neighborhoods. In the United States, in most states, your neighborhood is going to determine the school in which your kids are going to go to. And so neighborhood is a significant aspect of any home search. And LiveBy, we basically divided the whole country in 120,000 neighborhoods. It's integrated with 300 MLSs. And we are currently downloading about 20,000 consumer reports per month. And these consumer reports are the images on the left-hand side. So it is a report that is based on a specific neighborhood and allows the agent to brand that and then market themselves to those prospective clients. So incredibly hyper local, and most of our agents use these products, and we license this data to about 300 brokerages across the country. So many of our competitors actually use our products, and some of them don't even know it's the product, the company's owned by Fathom. And we'll continue to develop new products and services. And this is the partnership with Locafy. It is between really our Live by Local product, which is again Hyperlocal, combined with some of the products and services of Locafy. So let me give you an example. So we help our agents brand themselves at a local level. We have a program called Premier Agent Program, where agents brand themselves at a specific neighborhood or city. When individuals are looking for the houses, our neighbors are our agents are highlighted in those areas, right? And then we're able to tie the whole thing into a social media post. And so we have the technology that, for example, 9 a.m. Every day, I can create a post that shows all the information around the specific neighborhood for the last week. And so agents are allowed to use their technology and take advantage of that to market themselves at a local level. Real estate is a local level. I know some of you are watching from other countries, but real estate in the United States is always hyper local. I'm looking for a home in a specific neighborhood. And so the ability for agents to market themselves in those neighborhoods is probably the most important thing. And so we built a platform that allows agents to market themselves and become and demonstrate themselves as experts in those neighborhoods. What is the potential of the partnership? Well, our growth, Fathom, this year, our hope is to grow the company to at least 20,000 agents and close about 55,000 transactions. Within the next few years, we want to grow to about 100,000 agents. The market for real estate agents that close at least 4 transactions per year, it's about 500,000 agents, 500,000 agents. Our IntelliAgent platform, which is a separate company, which manages our entire product, we're already marketing that technology to 300 brokerages, and our goal is to market that technology to 500,000 agents across the country who are not part of Fathom. So in a sense, think of it as a two-pronged strategy. One, if agents come to Fathom, they'll use the technology of the Fathom. If agents don't want to come to Fathom, we use the technology through other brokerages to help them run the business. There are also about 400,000 mortgage professionals. We already licensed some of our technology and data of Live By to mortgage companies in order to market themselves at a local level. And then if we get into home services, things like plumbers and movers and inspectors and appraisers and all of that, there's about 2 million more professionals than that. And we already have several partnerships in which we're beginning to help them use Live By to market themselves again at a hyper local. All of these individuals, all of these professionals want to market themselves at a hyper local. Hyper local is an enormous market, and it is significant in the real estate industry. And so this is how we see our partnership with Locafy to combine the Locafy product with our Live By product, and then with the IntelliAgent, and not only market this to our Fathom agents, but market this to all kinds of other professionals in the real estate industry. With that, I will turn that back to, I think, Gavin.
Last week, and thank you very much, Marco, for those kind words. Yeah, we're very excited about this partnership and what the potential is. And it ties in very nicely with an announcement we made last week about Localizer, which is all about boosting online visibility and local search. As we all know, your business is generally in one location, but your customers are all around you. If you're not on page one, you're not in the hunt. And I'll skip through these fairly quickly because I think many of you have seen these slides before, but it's worth reminding people that, a lot of the time too, consumers are looking for just something. They don't even know the brand. So it's very important that we can get customers to the top of search for non-branded search. And what are people looking for? Well, there's typically 4 things that people are doing when they're searching. It's navigational, and that means that they're looking for a specific page or URL. Informational, they're looking to find answers to a specific question, and some of the stuff that Marco went through there in terms of neighbourhood information or what schools are in this area, that's typically the type of thing that would fall in the informational type search. Commercial is where customers want to specifically interact with a particular brand or company, and transactional, they're ready to make a purchase decision. And as we all know, there's really only 3 ways to appear on page one. You buy ads, or you appear in the local pack, which is again very important from a hyper local perspective. Real estate terms do tend to be very local, as Marco said. So the real estate agents really do need to have a strong presence in both the local pack and also organic search to be, getting those customers that are looking for a real estate agent or a house, and they just don't have anything specific in mind in terms of an agency or a brand. And to Marco's point, nearly half of all search is local. That's even more so the case in real estate. Okay, so what do we do for local businesses? The first thing is to have good quality content, and that's what Fathom Real Estate have in huge amounts. The depth of the data in terms of neighbourhood information, real estate information, transactions, and so forth. We can ingest all of that data to produce, well, firstly, a listing, a business listing for the agent, which means that agent profile is listed on over 120 different search engines, voice assistants, and so forth, which builds trust. That's the foundational level for any SEO solution. But then we can create landing pages which are very, very rich in content, which we can pre-build. We actually have the ability then through API to pre-build marketing tools for any agent in Fathom's database. And then in addition to that, once we've got those sort of two things in place, we can heavily influence the Google business profile for any agent in any neighborhood to get them into the top 3. So what do we do with content? Unique content is critical from a search engine perspective. And again, that's something that Fathom have in spades. So the ability to bring in their content and produce digital assets which have unique, authentic business content is going to be an absolute pleasure. Where do we publish to? Well, there's about 120 different places. As I say, this is a bit of a commodity. However, it is the foundational step for every single business to really have this out there. Now, where this is also important is from an AI perspective. There's a lot more search going on now with, say, ChatGPT as well. And so it's super critical that whatever business you're in, real estate or whatever other industry, that you have consistent information across lots of different platforms, whether they're directories, search engines, voice assistants, landing pages, websites, because those AI bots are going over the same internet as Google is. So it actually kills 2 birds with 1 stone. That's a great hedge. And given the depth of the information that Marco has in his database with Fathom, we're going to be able to produce some very, very high caliber pages for agents where AI as well as Google can bring up not just results but actually converse with the consumers as well. The landing pages, watch this space. We're working through what they're going to look like, but they're going to be fantastic. And then from the GBP perspective, we've proven with the release of this localized product that within 30 days, we can pretty much be certain we can get any business to the top of the Google rankings inside the local pack for 1 or more keywords, and then we can expand the reach of that prominence from there. The last piece of the puzzle is articles. Now, this is something that, again, using that same data, we can use AI tools to create bespoke articles for any agent in any market and publish that to cover off some of those other search types that we talked about before, which is, say, navigational or informational, providing a little bit more depth of information to customers looking for, a real estate in a particular neighborhood. So how does this really work? Well, my thoughts on this is that every part of the value chain has to work. We need to basically deliver increased local visibility in online search that drives greater brand awareness, greater consumer engagement, and increases the likelihood of securing more business for the agent. When we achieve that, that's going to drive more business for Fathom. It's going to drive more transactional business. It becomes a valuable retention tool for existing agents, and I think it will also be a fantastic acquisition tool if Fathom can point to the fact that agents are generating more business as a result of having a greater presence locally. Then that's going to be a fantastic acquisition tool for Fathom. And for Locafy, obviously, our commercial success is linked to Fathom's commercial success. The more that we assist Fathom grow its business, the more our business is going to grow. So a complete alignment of value there. And that's it. Hopefully I didn't take up too much time there, Josh.
Nope, that was fantastic. And that leaves us plenty of time for Q&A, which we've got plenty of questions for you guys, and we'll start diving into that. So Brian, I'll turn it over to you to kick us off with the Q&A.
Yeah, perhaps Marco, if you can maybe begin with, this might, I'll say, preclude various questions. If you can kind of give a background on, Gavin has mentioned that Gateway, who is the investor relation firm, kind of facilitated that introduction, but what made you, I'll say, take the plunge, decide to, look into it, and then at some point you got to, okay, I'm going to do a proof of concept. Can you talk about that proof of concept and kind of what it demonstrated, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, first of all, great question. So I am a technology guy, right? I'm disguised as a real estate, running a real estate company, but I've been in technology literally. I'm gonna be dating myself. I actually ran a paging company. I co-founded PageNet Brazil. For those of you who are old enough to remember what a pager looks like. So I've been in technology all my life, and so at the end of the day, I mentioned that my goal is to create Shopify for the real estate industry, right? Create a platform, a technology services platform that offers everyone in the cycle of real estate transaction: real estate agents, mortgage, title, insurance professionals, home service, everyone that's involved in every time someone buys and sells a house. What are the things that we can offer them, right? And so we continue to add more products and services. We had a whole social media platform. We had a website called Houseopedia that has 1,200 articles on the real estate industry. So, Locafy, and because again, real estate is a hyper local, it's just the next step of the evolution, right? It's just the next step of the evolution of continuing to offer more to our agents. How do they market themselves? Again, our agents and everybody that we're going to go sell this to, our goal is to sell our platform to everyone with different modules and different service offers. So the idea to partner with Locafy is just the next evolution of something that we can offer our agents in terms of value add, right? In terms of how do we and if you think about my company, I like to be a simple guy. My goal is to do two things in my business. One, I like to offer innovative products and services that no one is offering. Or two, I like to offer products and services that other people are offering, but I can do it for a lower cost. And so that way I benefit my clients in both ways. And that's the goal. So a partnership with Locafy, and I met him through Gateway. Matt has been kind enough to make the introduction. It's just a natural evolution of some of the things in our roadmap. We got about 30 things in our roadmap in products and services we want to offer. So that's where we see it. We see search and SEO and positioning and all of that will benefit our entire ecosystem, not only from doing more transactions, helping our agents do more transactions, but also we already have the lowest turnover in the industry, but then continue to have a low turnover, but also then recruit more agents. And also, as I do more acquisitions, that's a value add as well. So we started the pilot about 45 ago. The pilot is going very well. We picked 20 agents throughout the country. And now we're going to go into the next phase of the pilot, and we're still working through the details of that. But I see this as a long-term partnership, and who knows what this can lead to. But I'm very excited about it because it's just the next evolution of some offerings that we can offer our agents.
And what what specifically did you see from the 20 agents that
Yep.
done?
Well, they were very. Locafy was able to move them up on the rankings fairly quickly, and so that's the first phase, is that to move up on the rankings very quickly, so they can get exposure to traffic, right? And so a lot of people can move some, people on search engines quickly. We'll move them up, but to move it quickly is not as easy. And so that's what we saw, right? That's the beginning of a partnership. And so now we're going to the next stage of the partnership. And we're also integrating, we're going to look at integrating Locafy into LiveBy, and then offering that. LiveBy also sells our data to other real estate brokerages and agents. And so we're looking to make a partnership to also include that, to go sell that to the 300 or so brokerages that we have, and continue to add more.
So as you look at the, I'll say the next phase, and I realize it could be kind of something that's changing on a daily basis, but what is the current thought as to, are you doing another X number of agents? At what point do you say, okay, we're satisfied with what we're seeing here and we want to roll it out
Yep.
to all of our agents? What would the
I think,
timeline?
yeah, we're in discussions we currently got almost 15,000 agents. I said we'll probably be at least 20,000 by the end of the year. We're in currently discussions to incorporate this to all our agents. And we'll probably do a test in the next 90 days to figure out how we take it to the next level. But I would say that by Q3 or early Q4, we could see Locafy integrated to all our agents.
And is Gavin making you pay him now?
Gavin's make me pay twice as much. I think both companies understand the potential here. I think both companies understand the potential, and like I said, our goal is to grow quickly, and there's an enormous potential in all kinds of other markets here. So,
have you sought any feedback from your agents themselves as to how they would react to such an offering, what they'd be willing to pay for it?
Well, first of all, real estate agents don't want to pay for anything. And so it's like, it's asking them what they're willing to pay is nothing. But of course, that's not the key. Look, I already know the answer to the question because I sell real estate agents products and services all the time, right? I sell a social media product to agents where we generate content for them, and we sell anywhere from $100 to $150 a month, right? And so I already have lots of products and services that I already sell to agents, and I know what they're willing to pay and not willing to pay. And so I feel pretty good about, I think, what we can end up, especially in high volume, right? It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but and the other thing is that there will be an announcement from Fathom within the next 60 days about a new service we're offering that is going to be incredibly attractive. And I think it's going to attract a lot of agents to Fathom. Again, I said earlier, we're kind of an odd bird. We think differently about the market. And so, and Locafy is going to be part of that offering. And we think we can add thousands of agents into the new service offering, which will be a different one than we're currently offering to our regular. So we'll have different stages and think of it as different programs to our agents in terms of, some agents are willing to spend more money than others, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we're going to incorporate Locafy, not only into our agent stream, but also in our partnership with how we sell Live By to our brokerages. We have partnerships with, we didn't even get into this yet. I have partnership with the biggest MLSs in the country. I can actually bring Locafy to the biggest MLSs in the country. They're already my customers. One of the biggest companies that provide the MLS data. If you guys are familiar with MLS is the software that you go search for houses. One of the biggest providers of MLS software to the MLSs is a client of ours, of Live By, and we have a very large contract with them. So many different interesting ways for us to partner and how we ingest Locafy into our product streams, and how we market this.
So it almost sounds as though you're suggesting that Locafy's solution may be bundled with other offerings. Am I?
That is correct. That is correct. I am a big bundler. I like bundling things, and that's how I've sold millions and millions and millions of software by competing with the big guys when I was a little guy, by bundling different technologies together. And I think that's how we win business and differentiate yourself. And so we are going to bundle Locafy into a variety of different products and services that we offer. Yes.
So has Gavin convinced you as to what amount to pay him yet?
We are in discussions. Perhaps Brian, perhaps you can have those discussions.
What we're aiming to do is to give Marco the best competitive edge in markets, in the real estate market as possible. That's what we stated now in our conversations, but we can't get into specifics of pricing. But that's the intention, is to give him that advantage.
And would you have like collateral that would say, and I realize, especially in light of it potentially being packaged with other offerings, that would say, I shouldn't use the word guarantee, but the expectation is that if you buy this bundled product, one of the attributes will be you will appear on page 1 of Google listings within, whether it's, 30, 60 days. Would that kind of be in your sales pitch to potential buyer agents?
I'll let Gavin answer that. I don't typically like to make that. So the new product and service that I'm coming up with, and because I'm a data guy, so I've done a lot of data analysis on this. It's really to tell an agent that if you do X number of transactions a year and you join this new program, you should double your business within 2 years. And doubling the business within 2 years is based on a variety of different things and a variety of different components to that, and certainly Locafy will be one of them. As to, you will be in the first page and the first three and all that. I think Gavin has a much more deal experience at this point than I would in terms of making that assumption.
Yeah, we'd be confident we'd get them all there within 90 days. In the trial, we got literally everyone to page 1 inside of 30, which we're pretty pleased. And I think Marco can attest, we went past Zillow, we went past Realtor.com, we went past Homes.com with their own brand. We did it in that time. But giving guarantees, given the price point is going to be super competitive, I don't think that's a necessary thing to do. And the intention is we should be able to say to the real estate agent, your ROI, you need one transaction and you're going to get a pretty handsome ROI on your marketing investment. So I'd be confident we can do that, I don't think it's necessary to give that rock solid ironclad guarantee.
I agree. There's so much, and again, I can't discuss the program yet because we haven't launched it yet, and as a public company, I have to do it in a way that gets done throughout the whole press release process. But this program is going to be incredibly attractive to agents, and so I don't think we have to make that assumption or make that point that you'll be in the first position, second, and third. I think the goal of the program is to help them double their business within 2 years, and I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to do that with most agents.
So, Marco, this is another question you may not want to answer too specifically, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Let's say you're a year from now, and let's say you have 20,000 agents, and you offer this bundled product that includes Locafy solution. How many of these agents would you expect to take advantage of that bundle?
So you got to remember that the real estate industry is also somewhat fragmented. I think agents, and I think we're going to come up with several different packages, right? Think of it as silver, gold, and platinum, right? I think to a certain extent, all agents will have some variation of this product, but I think as you get into the silver and the gold and platinum will be less. So I mean, you could say that 25% of the agents will have the highest package, another 25% of the agents will have the second package, and then the other 50% of the agents will have the least expensive package. And that's just the nature of the real estate industry. It's just like any sales organization. You have your superstars, and then you have your B pluses, your B minus, your C's. And so and we've done this before. Look, even with Live By, our own product, we have a percentage of our agents that use it a lot. We have less that use less. And so I anticipate that. But this is just the 20,000 agents is that. Again, I'm going to the partnership, we're going to tie this in with Live By, and offer this to our 303 by then could be 400 brokerages, and then perhaps even look at the MLSs, or look at this one software company that really has most of the software for the MLSs. They're always looking for other things that they can provide. So there's a lot of interesting ways for us to take this partnership to a 10x level.
And I guess in the spirit of that, you've kind of talked about, I'll say, what's on the plate in front of you as being, second half of this year. If you're looking at, potentially marketing it to non-Fathom agents, or marketing it to other brokerages. Have you guys had discussions around that, and or is it just too early at this point in time, or what are
No.
each of your thoughts on it?
No, we have discussions on that. It's early, but we have discussions. I don't think, and I think Gavin doesn't do that. I don't think so. The next 3 months, I think about in stages. Next 3 months, 6, 9, what could be down the road. I like to see us what we are 3 years from now and kind of work backwards. So yeah, no, I absolutely think that that's it. Gavin is very familiar with our data. We have an enormous amount of data, at a neighborhood level. I can tell you almost everything about that neighborhood. Who lives there, how old they are, how long they've had their houses, how many kids they have, the income. I mean, I can tell you all kinds of things about the neighborhood. How many Starbucks are next to the neighborhood, how many whatever, all the entire neighborhood, what schools it goes to, what are the good schools, the bad schools, all of it. And so we have an enormous amount of data. And so we're going to tie in that to that as well. And then again, we're licensing to brokerages who are then selling live by to their agents. And so that is a normal evolution to also sell Locafy to those agents, as long as they're making some money, right, on that sale. So lots of opportunities. I'm a sales guy. I'm a closet business development guy. I mean, I would describe. So like I'm always looking for things that I can add value and sell to my clients and to my customers and partners and all of that. So
Gavin, a quick one for you. How long does it take you to set up an agent, a Fathom agent?
I guess there's a couple of ways to answer that question. The optimal way to do it would be to do it all at once. That way, that process would take us several weeks to do that, but then all of them are set up. And that's probably the optimal way to do it. If we had to do one by one, we can be done in 10 or 15 minutes in terms of just a landing page solution for an agent. But what we've discussed is, doesn't it make more sense to let people see, touch, feel a working solution? And that's the big advantage that we have with Fathom. The quality and the quantity of the data enables us, when you set up one, you set up all. So hopefully that answers your question in terms of,
So if you're doing them together, you could do that within a month.
I would anticipate we could get that done within a month. Yes, we've already scoped what it would take to build out the agent site. So yes, we've got a very good idea of what that would take, and we're familiar with the data, not at the granular level, but we've got a very good understanding of it. Yes.
Okay, perfect. One final thing before I turn it over to Florian and Josh and anyone else who has questions is, so Marco, I saw in your presentation, Paul Estes. Is that a real person or is that a fictional?
It's a real person. Yeah, he actually runs our social media company. Yes, he lives in Cary, North Carolina. He's been my he worked for me for many, many years ago as my director of agent support for one of my software. I know Paul. Let's see, I know Paul for 25 years.
He's not a real estate agent.
No, he runs a social media company, so he uses his own picture for that.
In that regard, right?
I'm sorry?
I said you tested him in that regard, or I should say Gavin tested him in that regard.
Actually, it wasn't even one that was tested. I didn't want to put pictures of theirs tested because you need to have permission. And so we use his, but we use 20 different agents. And some of them actually were called our district directors, our local managers. I think the 20 people we use, 10 of them were local managers and 10 of them are some of our highest producing agents in the country.
Bring that up to say that I saw the name in your presentation, so I Googled it by putting, North Carolina real estate agent, and I can tell everyone it showed up on page 1. So there you go.
They're on page 1. I can promise you, Brian. That was the thing we did was, there's no exaggeration there from Marco. They did very well. And the number one thing we're aiming to do was to get listings or results ahead of those big groups, which is very hard to do. For anyone that knows a little bit about SEO, real estate has a keyword difficulty of 100%, i.e. it's very difficult. So I guess the fact that we could demonstrate we could do it was great. Now we'd love, we're going to be doing it on a much, much bigger scale. And it'll impact the Fathom brand as well. So one of the things we do is with these landing pages, it actually pushes up the Fathom brand overall. So it's going to have a knock-on or a snowballing effect on the brand.
Mhm. Okay, Florian, do you want to jump in?
I see a question in the chat right now, Brian, so I'm going to jump in with that one from Sam. So Marco, as you were, working with Locafy and talking and kind of going through the proof of concept, one of the things that we hear often as a challenge in the SEO space is, is Locafy just another SEO company? And so I'm curious if you've looked into other opportunities in the past with SEO companies to do something similar, if you can maybe give your experience as a technology guy,
Sure.
kind of what your thoughts are on that situation. Are they bringing something unique to the table?
Yep. So yes, we looked at several other companies, and my CTO also looked at several other companies. And there's a lot of noise in this space. It's like AI now, right? Everybody's an AI company. I remember that during the .com, everybody was a .com, and so you get through these technology trends that change over time, or the cloud, right, or whatever it is. So yes, we looked at lots of companies. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I'm not going to get into specific company names. I think with Locafy, first of all, Locafy has been able to deliver. Let's just start with that. So they could deliver. It's a lot of things. I think it's leadership. I think it's their approach to doing things. Um, I think it's their technology. They have been able to deliver combination of price point and the ability to be open to a partnership. So all those things matter, right? I mean, look, there's some other companies out there that are very good, but incredibly expensive. Real estate agents are not gonna, or too complex to implement, right? So technology, at the end of the day, it has to be useful and it has to work, has to be useful. Ease of use is important. There's a reason why most of us, I don't know how many use iPhone, because the ease of use to a certain extent, right? And so, yeah, all those things help the process. But yes, we looked at other companies. As a matter of fact,
Fantastic.
we also look into building ourselves. Look, I have 50 developers in Brazil. We looked at building ourselves as well, but I don't have the SEO expertise. And at the end of the day, you got to have somebody has that expertise as well. And and I got so many other things to go do that partnering with somebody's often accelerates the growth as opposed to building yourself. You can't build everything yourself. Even Microsoft and Google buy companies all the time because you can't build everything yourself.
One of the things that you touched on during the presentation was some of the other companies that maybe on the surface people aren't as familiar with when they look at Fathom Holdings and just see the real estate agent aspect of it. Can you maybe just spend a couple more minutes talking on those other entities or other businesses and how the Locafy product potentially could provide
Sure.
value to those, and kind of maybe just from a Fathom perspective, what does your roadmap look like with those companies to grow those, and
Sure.
how Locafy
Yep.
could tie into that?
Well, part of it is some of our going to be they're going to be integrated into this announcement coming up in terms of an offering. But just pick the mortgage business, right? We have a small mortgage company, but it's growing. I think you saw the growth 60-70%. I just brought in an individual who ran a very big, named John Gwynn. He ran a $15 billion mortgage company, left that to come join us because of the growth that I anticipate. But loan officers, so what are loan officers doing? Loan officers are talking to potential buyers, and those potential buyers want information on the neighborhoods, on that. A loan officer wants to differentiate himself from herself because the only thing they can differentiate from themselves is their service. The interest rates are always the same no matter what for the most part. So is the service. How can I help you? How can I give you better information? Data is a differentiator. And so offering data, and then partnering with other real estate agents. So the typical loan officer, even though they're not doing a deal with a Fathom agent, they could be doing a deal with a competitor of mine. And now they can be offering that agent the ability to market themselves as a way to sell that service. So we can sell Locafy through a mortgage company and then to other mortgage companies through title. I have several partnerships with companies that offer third-party services. So a lot of interesting, and of course, Live By, right? Live By is the key because Live By eventually is going to be used by, I mean, I believe eventually 500,000 agents are going to use Live By. across the country. And I want to, put that offering within Locafy within the Live By system.
Excellent. Florian, you have anything? So just to repeat the question for those that maybe can't hear it and for the recording, Florian was asking the question when it comes to bundling, if it might look different for internal Fathom agents versus external agents.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yeah, no question. And not only it will be different, it will be different to different kind of agents. I mean, if you try to create one solution for every real estate agent is not the same. There's that do 5 transactions a year, that do 20, that do 50, that do 100. And so, and they're teams. And so there'll be some sort of product that's focused on teams. Next week, I'm flying to Phoenix to talk to one of my biggest teams. They are the 10th largest real estate team in the country. They close 1,800 transactions a year. So, I will have conversations with George about different things that we can do for him and for teams. So, yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. Bundles will be different for the different kind of agent, as well, the different kinds of companies. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Brian, feel free to jump back in if you have anything. Florian, same for you.
Yeah, Marco, and you're basically expecting that the pricing will be such that for the agents it's basically a no-brainer to take it, or at least take the basic version. Did I understand
Well, I mean,
that correctly?
so I'm an economist by education, and I look at price elasticity. So you want to get as close to a no-brainer as possible, but you want to also maximize the profitability of the relationship. So, we will try different pricing and see what was the optimal pricing, right? But yes, I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, that's how I price some of my other things, like my social media. It's a no-brainer. And so I'm careful with that word no-brainer, because sometimes a no-brainer could be free. So it's not going to be free, but it certainly will try to maximize the potential revenue as much as possible. And we'll find what the right pricing is. It'll take a little bit of time to find that optimal pricing, but I'm very focused on. I'm a data guy, so I look at data all the time, and that's how I come to the pricing at Fathom. And to a certain extent, I actually went a little too low, and now I changed the pricing a bit and added some additional revenue through some other things. But yes, I wanted to make it as the sales process as easy as possible, at least to get the agent to try it.
And is it correct to say that in the structure of how you guys operate, there's kind of a dual incentive here where obviously the agents are incentivized with the return on investment of purchasing this package, this bundle, but at the same time, you guys are clearly incentivized to price it the right way to get it out there, and ultimately it is still a revenue center for you guys as well, and a profit center. So
Yep. Yeah.
it seems like once again there was a heavy incentive across the board to find the right price point at which the most agents would like it.
No question. Absolutely. And because again, as a company and Gavin, of course, is focusing on the verticals and all that, right? So there's a little bit of difference. He's got a lot of other verticals that I'm not focused on. But to me, the more agents I have, the more transactions I have, the more money I make on mortgage, I make on title, I make in other things, right? And so it is a agent game, and it's a transaction game. I'm a transaction company. I get paid every time an agent closes a transaction. And so, yes, we are highly incentivized to understand what is that value exchange in terms of the lowest possible price, but what else I can make money for. To a certain extent, I make money in other things through this partnership and so I am highly incentivized to try to offer this at the lowest possible price. At the same time, of course, Gavin wants to make as much money as possible, right? So we're trying to find, we're both in business. We run public companies. Our most important part of our business is to return value to our stockholders, right? And stakeholders, who sometimes are other people in the process. So it's there. You're never going to get to the right number right away. It takes time to get to that number. But to answer your question, I think yes, we're highly incentivized to put as many agents as we can on.
And Marco, I think you said you would expect the agents that use it to double the transactions they're doing in about 2 years?
No,
I mean, that
no,
would be tremendous also for Fathom, right? I mean,
yeah, no,
when I
no.
think
So
what it
let
means for
me,
your own revenue.
yeah, let me clarify that. That is based on this new program that we're going to create that has lots of other offerings, okay? And Locafy will be one of them. And so that program has like 14 or 15 different things we're offering to agents as a bundle. And I believe is going to create, let's just say that I'm not going to create a lot of friends in the industry from my competitors. And so Locafy will be one of those. But the value message to our agents when we launch that is that if you use this methodology, these services, these products, and all of that, you will double your business. You should double your business within 2 years. And Locafy will be a component of that offer. So this is not just specific on Locafy, but Locafy will be part of this offering in terms of how we market this to agents.
And how would the rollout be looking for your own agents
Sure.
versus the one
Yep.
outside Fathom?
Yep.
Is it all going to be immediately, or
Yep.
is it in different
So
phases?
the two different rollouts. So the rollout for our agent, we're still going through the process, trying to figure out what that looks like and all that, and we'll come to an agreement next 30 days and then start implementing. The rollout for this new program, it will, I believe we're going to launch sometime by the end of March, so 6 weeks. So call April 1st. And initially it will be 200 to 300 agents a month that we bringing into this program, but eventually it could be, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 agents a month. Who knows, right? And Locafy will be certainly part of this new program. But this will probably come out sometime late March. For all our other agents, we're still going through the process of that. So, and then for Live By, and then the third component is Live By. I think we'll start conversations about how to integrate this with Live By, and Todd runs Live By for us, and then try to figure out where we go from there. Yeah. So think of it as
Mark,
three different processes, right? One is this new program, two is the Fathom base, and then three is Live By, who basically has about 400,000 agents using their data service, right? And we just have to figure out how we integrate it too.
Marco, a couple questions, kind of all tie together. You're obviously talking about some really big plans for Fathom as a company and some of the things that you're rolling out. Locafy obviously plays a part in that and some of the packages that you're going to offer.
Mhm.
Clearly, big growth plans. When you ultimately acquire an agent to join Fathom,
Mhm.
I think you mentioned in your earlier presentation that generally they stick around. You don't have a ton of turnover.
Mhm.
So one could forecast, right, that once an agent buys this bundle, things are going well. These aren't products that they're using for a couple months and all of a sudden they decide to stop using. I assume that agent stickiness with you guys is similar to the product stickinesses that you offer to them.
I think that the stickiness of this is going to be greater than the overall stickiness of Fathom. So another way to answer that is that I think Locafy can actually increase the stickiness of Fathom agents. And by the way, let me just make one thing about the agents leaving us. 80% of the agents that leave Fathom don't close any business. And so they join the company with the aspirations that they're going to be phenomenal real estate agents, and then realize they actually have to work. And that is not easy to be a real estate agent. And so they end up. So a significant percentage, like I said, 75, 80%, don't really close any business. So when I lose that agent, it's not like it really caused any issue for me in terms of loss of revenue, right? When I look at turnover for agents that actually close business, I mean, we're looking at 0.3%, 0.4% a month. It's a very low number, right? But certainly, I think I don't know how much you guys, I don't know how many of here live in the US and how many don't live in the US, but, real estate agents, they're salespeople. And it's one of these industries where they're asked to do so many things that really salespeople don't do. And I ran salespeople in software companies and data businesses and telecom and content, all kinds of different companies. And salespeople, for the most part, they go out, they hunt, they bring the deal in, they give it to somebody else to do it, right? They don't really do any of that. But a real estate agent is asked to manage the process of the transaction and the data and the documents, inspections, and all of this other stuff related to a transaction. And then they have to be experts in social media. They have to be experts in, right? And that's the reality. So if you have a basic concept that if you do all this stuff for an agent, they're never going to leave you. Then why would they leave you? Right? If you are a client, a small e-commerce customer using Shopify, and Shopify runs your business for you and does all these different things for you, why would you leave it? Now, the only reason you leave is because you're going out of business or you're not selling enough. Okay, so be it. But if you are a successful, business, why would you leave Shopify or Amazon? So think of it as our goal is to be Shopify, right? Is to offering these professionals all their help in terms of running their business, right? And Locafy is one of those things we're going to offer. So if we are successful, why would they ever leave? Right? They only leave if they're not making any money. But if they're able to double their business and we can do all those things to help them grow their business, they're going to be highly successful, right? So we come from a different spin and highly leverage on technology, highly leverage on technology to help our agents be successful because they don't want to learn how to do all these different things. They'd rather have someone do it for them.
That makes a lot of sense. And just a time check here, we're right on the hour. So out of the respect for your time, I'm just going to call out to see if there's any last questions that folks really want to get answered before we wrap up. If you still have a couple more minutes, Marco.
I have as much time as you like. So
Excellent.
Marco, has there already been some feedback from agents that have used the product and
Yep.
maybe requests from other agents who have seen the announcement but couldn't use it yet?
Oh, both. Yeah. I mean, out of the 20 agents we're already communicating with them all the time. So yes, we already got feedback from them. But let's put it this way. I don't think I would make an announcement and then get into the next stage if I wasn't getting good feedback, right? So I think we can assume that we're getting good feedback, right? So yeah, we're getting good feedback from agents. We have other agents asking us about it. What is this about? How is this going to work? So yeah, I mean, I think that it's just there's a lot of noise and you have to manage the noise, right? And so you manage the noise and you focus on the things you need to do, and to get this to work, right?
I think we answered this already, but I'll just
Okay.
repeat it just for the sake of
Sure.
making sure that we're sound on this.
Yep.
Clearly, the question is basically stating Locafy is going to be part of a bundle that you offer through the agent. So in this case, Fathom will essentially be buying the product, quote unquote, wholesale from Locafy and including it into a bundle. And so the thought process obviously is that once again, you guys are acting as a reseller of Locafy's products to your potential customers. Not sure necessarily if there's a question there, but more or less just obviously confirming that that's how it's working, and therefore you're once again getting a wholesale price, and obviously then selling it to your agents at a price that you guys are dictating.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Having said that, I already told Gavin that I'm going to introduce him to other companies in which they would rather do directly Locafy. I have, and as you can imagine, being in for 12 years, I have relationships with almost every CEO, almost every, not everyone, but almost every CEO in the top 100 companies in the industry. I probably know 70, 80 of them. So yes, I will, in some cases, I'll just make an introduction and let him do it. But yes, I would say in general terms, yes, we'll act because we'll incorporate either other products and services, or our live by product, or we go to some of the 300 brokers that we already sell to. So lots of different interesting ways to partner. And when I was running software companies, I think my biggest company is about 100 million revenue. I think I had 4,000 resellers or 4,000 partners all over the world. It's a great way to do business, and when you find two companies that have same values and all of that, it works well.
All right, I'm just going to pause here for another second to see if there's any other questions that come in, and if not, we will wrap up. So far, it's been fantastic, Marco. I mean, I think there's a couple things that are real interesting from this call. Not only, learning about Fathom, what you guys offer, and I think we'd certainly like to have you guys back on in the near
Sure.
future as things continue to progress, and we can kind of just do a follow-up on how things are going. And continue to learn about Fathom and in the partnership with Locafy. So
Yep, absolutely.
with
We'd
that,
love to come back. Yep.
fantastic. I'm not seeing anything else for questions. So once again, really appreciate your time. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Gavin, for being here.
Thanks.
We'll get this presentation out to our community as soon as possible and get it posted online, and we'll shoot you guys a copy of it.
Great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting you. Gavin, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Marco.
Thank you,
Cheers,
everybody.
guys.
Bye-bye. Have a good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Some or all the speakers may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. The views in this podcast expressed are those of the speakers, not Breakout Investors. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. Neither Breakout Investors nor any of its affiliates makes any representation or warranty, express or implied, as to the accuracy or completeness of the statements or any information presented by this podcast and any liability, including in respect of direct, indirect, or consequential loss or damage, therefore is expressly disclaimed. No one on this podcast is an investment advisor, and no one is providing investment advice. Before investing in any company's stock, you must do your own research. Thank you for listening.